Hey guys, so as promised, we are going to do the full walkthrough of the Stranger Things tarot. I'm super excited about. If you're new to this channel, hi, my name is Heather. Usually you can see me, but I decided to just start with this straight up view of the deck because, yeah, that's what we're here for, right? So let's get right into it. So I have opened this already, but I haven't mixed up the cards or anything yet. So we open it up, and there is this guidebook, which is awesome. It's a very full color, full depictive. Sorry, trying not to give away too many of the cards, but very, like I said, very colorful and everything. I had gone over this on my first channel about how it really like brings you in, and if you're just learning, but you are a Stranger Things fan, it tells you about like it compares things. Let me see if I can find it again now. But it does say things like, think of learning tarot like moving to a new town. Imagine how Elle felt as she discovered the faces, places, and nuances of life outside of the lab. Sure, it can be overwhelming, but there's also so much fun to be had. Your tarot deck is a lot like Hawkins, filled with unique characters and mysteries just waiting to be explored through the various spreads. It talks a little more about the deck and everything, and then when it gets into like talking about the major arcana here, it says the major arcana consists of 22 of the 78 cards. On a map of Hawkins, these would be the primary thoroughfares and freeways in and out of town. As the major arcana represents significant events in life, they begin with the Fool. Oh, it's going to tell you who it is. um, who meets 20 other fascinating archetypes on his journey within the major arcana, are life-changing moments of personal growth and universal human experiences. So it kind of depicts like, or relates, I guess I could say. I'm going to try to not show you. I just wanted to get to the minor arcana part. When it explains the minor arcana, it says the minor arcana represents your actions and choices. On a map of Hawkins, these would be the sites that you most commonly visit: meeting with your friends at the library, cruising the roller rink, or going on a bike ride down the street. Their day-to-day experiences, temporary in nature, but still important as they relate to your patterns or of behavior. If upside down, they can encourage you to think differently about your current situation. Before each suit, you will find a detailed description of what types of experience they focus on. You might notice common themes for the numbers across the suits. For example, aces always speak to new beginnings, but depending on which suit it's from, it will indicate new beginnings in different parts of your life. So they do obviously go through and explain a little bit more about it. They get into the suits here, which I'm actually going to just save for a little bit later to talk about, because obviously we're going to hit the major arcana first. So let's just dive right in. Set this aside. And it is a nice box. It's a nice sturdy box. And it's got like the ribbon and everything. So it's a nice box to start with. And here's the back of it, which is nice. It's got the Mind Flayer at the top. It's got that like storm from the upside down going on. It's nice nostalgia looking for those of us who are very familiar with the show and are big fans. It's something nice to see on the back. So we like it. I like it anyway. The cardstock itself, they're pretty thin cards, but that they should shuffle pretty nice. They feel like, especially the front feels like maybe it has a little bit of plastic on it, but the back feels a little bit more cardboardish than plastic. I think it'll wear fine. I guess we'll see. Okay, so here we are. So we have the Fool. Let's make sure that's centered right. I'm playing around with my new camera angle here, so hopefully everything works out well with this video. The Fool, that is Will. So we do start out with that. Now I had a comment in my other video about why the Fool wouldn't be Elle and her adventures. It does comment in the book about it being Will because of Will. Like the show does start out, it doesn't start out with the escape of Elle. It starts out with the taking of Will Byers. It starts out as like Will's, I know it's not a good adventure to have, but it is like Will's great adventure. The show's based around Will's great adventure. Even Elle getting pulled into the mix is due to Will's great adventure. So, um, Will does make perfect sense. It would have made sense for Elle, but Elle has other places to fit into where it just makes absolute sense to me for Will to be the fool. Um, I like it personally. Yeah. So Will anyway is the fool. Uh, and then we've got the High Priestess as Elle. Elle does show up. I will say spoiler alert several times here, but the High Priestess is Elle. That's very fitting. For like obvious reasons, I guess. But she definitely has that draw to her, as noted by the way the other kids are drawn to her too. Um, yeah, so it definitely made sense, and you wouldn't have another reason, I guess, why Elle wouldn't be the fool is you wouldn't have Elle and then the High Priestess right together, most likely. So it was a good fit. And then the magician is, oh, I just noticed this is the way the deck came. I didn't mix them up, but it went from the High Priestess to the magician, so it went 2 to 1, and then we're going to 3. Anyway, the magician is Bob, which I didn't expect him to be the magician, but it does make sense when you really think about it. Because Bob provided a lot of answers out of literally nowhere. He came out of nowhere. He showed up, and just when they needed things the most, Bob was there to give them the answers they needed. If it wasn't for Bob, they wouldn't have found Hopper, that's for sure. If it wasn't for Bob at the lab, I don't think they would have escaped. Like he flat out pointed out, do any of you guys even know how to reprogram these computers, right? So it makes sense. I think Bob's a good magician. I think that was a good choice. I think it was well thought out. And then Joyce as the Empress. Maybe not the most flattering picture for Joyce as the Empress, but she definitely has that nurture, protective nature. Joyce has very mama bear nature about her. So obviously, like that made sense. And then side by side with Hopper as the Emperor, both of them make sense. And I made this comment in the quick show in my other video or my other channel, but I'm not a Japper fan. I'm sorry, I'm not. But um, this is obviously like a Japper moment for those of you who are like the Emperor and the Empress together here. And they are, both of them are, they make sense for these cards because he's very protective, she's very nurturing. It just makes sense. Yeah. So Hopper is the Emperor, and then Murray is the Hierophant. A lot of these cards, including this one, just made me. At first, I was like, "What? Murray is the Hierophant?" But it does make sense. Murray has a lot to say, and he's very knowledgeable. I could see the Hierophant energy on Murray. Yeah, so it does make sense to me anyway. It does make sense. And then of course the lovers were Elle and Mike, and this was definitely like the height of their romance, right? We know things did get rocky later for those of us who have seen all the series, but this was the height of it, the beginning, the puppy love, everything's worked out and we're happy, and so that's their lovers moment right there, and that's so sweet. It was a really nice moment to capture right there. And then the chariot was, of course, Hopper's truck. Of course it was. I can't even think of something that would be a more suiting chariot in the show. It's definitely like the forward moving energy, positive energy. Yeah, that's yes. And the strength card being Max makes complete and total sense to me. Max is such a spitfire to begin with. I love that she's the strength card, and she gets more so. Sorry, let me even that out a little bit. She gets more so the strength, like the personification of the strength. The longer the season goes, the longer the seasons go, the longer the show goes on and progresses. She's just Max is the strength. She's fiery. Uh, it makes sense. And then the Hermit, which I love. I told you Elle shows up multiple times. Um, Elle is like nobody is gonna help her on this journey, like this particular journey. This was a great moment for the Hermit card, in my opinion. Um, this is the time for her to like draw back and reflect and well, not so much reflect, but she's definitely like withdrawn and hermity. I don't know. I know that sounds kind of silly to say hermity, but contemplative and meditative because she's literally meditative in this state. I don't know. It just to me that was really well thought out. And then the Wheel of Fortune with all the kids. We got Dustin and Will. Elle's in the middle. Mike is here, and then Lucas and Max are all on it, on an Eggo waffle because it's round, I suppose. And then Nancy as Justice. Nancy was really delivering that Justice energy in season 4. I love that. Excuse me. Yeah, there's not even more to say. Like always been she's always been well, once her character started developing, she's always been like a strong forward moving energy, I guess. So it makes sense to me. And then the Hanged Man, I did make a comment in my other video about how I don't remember this particular scene. I don't remember Will ever being in the regular world or the upside down. I don't remember him being um upside down or hanged, I mean, like that, like in the air like this. It looks like he might be in the junkyard, um, but he makes sense as, especially from season 1, and it does look like he's in his season 1 outfit here. He was definitely like that stalled energy, because where was he going? He could not. He was trapped. He could not get out. So he was the Hanged Man, that's for sure. So that makes sense also. And then Death is Barb, but not even as like this is literally Barb with the Death card because she died and she was the first noted death I believe on the show, but also Death being the change card. Barb's death was the change, right? For a lot of the show. Will being taken was the change also, but that got the kids into searching and finding answers and looking for Will, but it was pretty clear that the adults were not on board. The adults were not really listening at that exact moment. Maybe Hopper would have gotten. I mean, Joyce. Let me rephrase. Joyce was listening, but maybe Hopper would have joined the battle and started believing a little bit earlier on. Except he also then had the disappearance of Barb to deal with. And then he connected the two, right? Or he at least had this feeling. Because the state troopers that had to deal with they had to deal with finding Will also suddenly moved Barb's car. And something clicked with him where he decided to go check out the body at the lab, and then he got on board and started believing Joyce, and then everything kind of moved together. I think Barb had a lot to do with that. So Barb kind of was the change in everything. So like more than just her actual physical death, Barb is the death card. That's a good symbology for her too. And then Mike as Temperance, especially with his walkie-talkie. I did think a little bit more about this card, um, which Mike kind of providing answers and being like I don't want to say accountable, but like being the one to count on, I should say. Um, being the leader, especially he's here in his season 3 outfit, where he was very much the leader, the save the day kind of guy. It does make sense um, that he was Temperance. Um, and then the devil with the lab workers. At first, I thought maybe this specifically was Brennan, but I don't think so. I think it's just meant to be the whole group, the group as a whole, and maybe not even from season 1, because honestly, they just kept going, didn't they? um, season 1, season 2, um, season 3 was more the Russians doing the experiments, I suppose, but um, with the devil being about things that you're addicted to or things that you can't let go, and then we're finding out, like with season 4, that a lot of Brenner's drive was his inability to let go of losing one. That all comes around like full circle to me and makes sense that the lab and the experiment and everything all sort of deals with the devil, with the devil energy. So that made sense to me. And then the tower, um, I believe that somebody had made mention, because I watched several other unboxing videos for this, and I do want to check on that. I should have done it before this video, but um, they made mention that this was specifically the Demogorgon, when it's really more, I would say, the Mind Flayer. I mean, it's not the Demogorgon, but either way, it's the creatures from the Upside Down, and them breaking through the rift, obviously. Um, which complete tower moment. Anything that involved like a sudden surprise of them coming through the rift or attacking the Demodogs heading to the lab, um, anything like that. Just like even in season 1, when Hopper showed up at the lab and broke through and was running amok, and the Demogorgon was, we were led to believe the Demogorgon was kind of around in the darkness or whatever, because you kind of heard the noise and Hopper was like obviously terrified, and then they came up on him and found him and was telling him like, you shouldn't be here. um everything coming through the portal, coming through that rift was a tower moment, because it was life changing, right? And it was destructive and it was not good. And even going through into the Upside Down, like that poor guy who came back as just the bloody real, all of it was awful. So that's pretty accurate. And then the star, Lucas as the star, I love that so much. Um, him being inspiration, and almost like saving the day, and like that's always been Lucas. He's even got his little firework from season 3, when his idea was to throw the firework at the meat puppet guy. um, Lucas is hope. Like for season 4, he was at Max's side. No, she didn't even want him there. Like she kept pushing him away, and there he was anyway. Um, she kept telling him like, it's not even you, fine, it's me, and everything. And he didn't care. He just told her like, no, it isn't. I should have been there. I should have recognized that you needed me. Him taking responsibility for it, like, was just him being the star. In the star, like the shining star and the star card, in my opinion, like Lucas was so wholesome. And he even like my favorite saying is after you know, the star follows the tower. Like after your tower moment comes the star, and that's also true even for season 4. I would definitely say Max's tower moment was the attack from Vecna, and then what happened after that? Lucas was there. Lucas was holding her. Lucas was saving her the best that he could after the attack. Lucas was by her bedside. Lucas didn't even meet his friends when they came in because he was there at Max's bedside. They had to go to the hospital, obviously, to see her, but if they wanted to see Lucas, they had to go see him there because he was her star moment. Um, Hopefully in season 5, I'd like to see him have something to do with, like, I want her to like come back in the first person that she recognizes or sees if she gets her sight back or whatever. I would love to see it be Lucas just because he deserves so much happiness. Lucas is such a stellar character. Moving on, that was my rant about Lucas. Sorry about that. The moon. So with the moon, we have, this was Elle during season 2, and then Elle is kind of leading the group with Kali and her punk minions. And the moon is uncertainty, things being revealed, I guess, unfinished business, and that whole, like, I know a lot of people do not love the episode, the Kali episode, myself included. I'm not gonna lie. It's not that I did not like the Kali character, but the whole episode was so out of place. I could do a whole video on my opinions on that though, but not this video, obviously. But nonetheless accurate for the moon. Kali did, well, solve some unfinished business for 11 and teach her some things and reveal some things for her, which she taught her. She not only did teach her things with her own powers, but she also did teach her what she didn't want. She taught her some lessons, right? She didn't want to be like Kali and her gang. So I think that's really super accurate for the moon. I think these were so well thought out, to like at least the major arcana, so well thought out. The sun, Dustin as the sun. Honestly, as much as I rant about Lucas, I have an equal rant, and I'm going to try to contain it about Dustin. But Dustin absolutely embodies like happiness and warmth and just like childhood memories and carefree enthusiasm. That's Dustin. Dustin is absolutely the right choice for the Sun card. I love him so much. I'm gonna pipe down before this becomes a Lucas rant, but I could not agree more. Dustin Henderson is absolutely the Sun. Judgment. Judgment is Billy. Judgment is specifically flayed Billy. And it's flayed Billy actually remembering his memories of his mom when he was a kid. Because Judgment Judgment is like, okay, I'm just gonna, here, hold on. Let me, because I agreed with what the this book says about it. It says judgment is the intersection of forgiveness, healing, and acceptance. You have learned difficult truths about yourself and reconciled past mistakes. Now you find yourself ready to embrace the significant change. Just as Billy takes control of his destiny, judgment is gently guiding you to shed your former self and become your final form. Because really, Flayed Billy wasn't his final form. He was just breaking free from that when he got spiked by the tentacle and sacrificed. So sorry, R.I.P. Billy. We do love you, but the judgment moment was him having that breakthrough when Elle showed him his mom, right? And that was it. And so, like, in that moment, Flayed Billy is a perfect choice for judgment. I love it so much. It's perfect. And then the world, and oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. in my other video, I did have one of my subscribers, and yes, I did know. I don't think I commented back. Actually, I'm really sorry, but I did know the significance of the blue bracelet, and I'm gonna bring it up in this video. But like the world, this blue bracelet was Hopper's biological daughter. Um, it was hers, and it had gotten. I don't want to. It's not like she went here, Dad. I'm passing this to you, but it had gotten in the show passed down. Basically, it went from Sarah wearing it to Hopper wearing it on his wrist, and then once Hopper had a full like trust and relationship with Elle, where she fully was his daughter, it got passed on to Elle, and Elle had it with her. Like she's had it depending on like the length of her hair and whatnot. She's had it either in her hair, she's had it on her wrist, but it's gotten passed along from Hopper to Elle because it's gone from child to father, from father to daughter, and that the fact that she has it on here and is holding his hand symbolizes they're the world to each other. They have both fought through so many things to go and come back to each other. Like I know I'm gonna bring up the Jopper thing again, and a lot of people think like Hopper and Joyce, they're the world. No, Elle and Hopper are the love story, but as father and daughter. Brenner always prided himself like Papa and daughter, but Brenner was like the father she had, and Hopper was the father she needed. um, yeah. So that's that's beautiful to me. And it's definitely like a celebratory moment because like you can actually see the sun in the background and them holding hands, and that's obviously them being united, and it's perfect. It's beautiful. Like it makes me want to see the rest of the picture. I love it so much. I love it. And now you've seen the major arcana. We are going to get into the minor arcana, which is what I was saving the books for. Because we are going to talk about the fact that we do not have cups and pentacles and such in here. We have got strands, scoops, dice, and spokes. You're looking right now at the Ace of Spokes. Spokes, and I've heard other people question this too. I would have assumed that spokes would be like being straight and metal. I would have kind of assumed they would have been swords. But in this case, they have chosen spokes to be the Suit of Cups. Now, what they said about it in the book, it says it aligns with the Suit of Cups, or corresponds with the Suit of Cups, aligned with the element of water. And it says, think about the love of your first bike, the freedom of movement, the spontaneous adventures, and being carried away by enthusiasm of youth. These cards represent being ruled by your emotions and deal in matters of the heart, which can be both exhilarating and challenging. And I do obviously agree that that is cups related. And I see where they're going with the bikes and the carefree and the emotions, which is what the kids experienced. So I do get it. So we're just gonna go forward. I mean, there's no debate. The ace or the spokes are cups, but that is their outlook on it, and that's why they picked it. Just so you know. So here is the Ace of Spokes. I'm going to flip to the just to have it around, I guess. But I'm going to flip to the book just because they have such interesting like now that they're talking about like the carefreeness of your memories on bikes and um yeah. Let's see. All right. I guess I'm not gonna read a lot of it. We'll go through them, but because it would take forever to do that. But Ace of Spokes, and then there's the Two of Spokes, which would be the Two of Cups. So there is the couple. So that is still good. And then there's the Three of Spokes. And then the Four of Spokes. Okay. I get, okay. I guess with the hopscotch. All right. And then the Five of Spokes. The bike with the flat tires. All right. I guess I get where they're going with that. Um, oh, and the Six of Spokes, Alexi, and he's got 6 straws in his Slurpee. Oh, but he's at the fair, and we know what happens at the fair. Um, I had to look up what it said about Alexi with that. Sorry. That's the Stranger Things nerd in me that you're getting with this look up here. Um, it says the sweet sentimental nostalgia of the Six of Spokes may have you feeling like a kid at the fun fair. Like Alexi, this card evokes the innocence of childhood and the peace that comes with connecting to your past. Get yourself a cherry slushie. It's time to indulge in some simple pleasures. So we're at least going back to the time before Alexi met Grigori at the fair. And then moving on to the Seven of Spokes. It's pretty. It does look. Somebody had said in a walkthrough that it looks like cotton candy. It does look like cotton candy. It's a very daydreamy looking card. And then the Eight of Spokes, which does look like it's going hand in hand with the Nine of Spokes here. So this is the older version of the bike, and there's the bright, sparkly new one. And then the Ten of Spokes, which is obviously got to be Max. And then we have the Page of Spokes, which is Jonathan. And then the Knight of Spokes, which would make him the Knight of Cups, Steve. I definitely like him as the Knight of Cups. And then we have, I'm thinking that's Will, judging by the haircut here. Will is the King of Spokes. Interesting. And then Elle is the Queen of Spokes. And yes, the queens are after the kings in this line for all of them. And then we are on to the Ace of Strands, which I will double check, but I believe the strands are wands. Strand is connected to the element of fire in other decks known as the Suit of Wands. Think light, warmth, and passion, sparking feelings of creativity and motivation. But like fire, the strands can also represent the destructive capabilities in such raw power. When you see the strands in your reading, reflect their meanings: willpower, ego, sense of self, and direction in life. And I do understand where they're going with that too. Not so much the actual physical symbology, because obviously they're not like sticks or anything like that. But like when they're saying the destruction part, like the strands of light also came with the warning of the Demogorgon and things like that. So I get what they're saying. But anyway, moving on. Here is the Ace of Strands with the singular light going on here. The strands definitely are. I mean, I guess the spokes were too. It's a little bit pippish once you get to these cards, but the Two of Strands with the 2 lights on. We have the Three of Strands with all 3 of the lights on. The Four of Strands with 4 lights on. Will the Five of Strands be 5 lights? Actually, the Five of Strands are all the lights. The Six of Strands, we have Erica showing up with an additional big light on. And the Seven of Strands are the group that is, for some reason at first I thought it was the Creel House. And then I realized this really isn't season 4 friendly at all. So this is the group in Joyce's house. And it makes more sense because she had all the lights. So it's Steve and Jonathan and Nancy waiting for the Demogorgon. And then we have the 8 of Strands, which is the ball of lights. And some of them are working and some of them are not. And then the 9 of Strands, which is the Demogorgon. All the lights going on. And then the 10 of Strands is Joyce and her lights. And then we have the Page of Strands, which is Susie, singing her little heart out and possibly costing Hopper his life. If you've seen season 4, Susie's off the hook. The Knight of Strands. Oh, it is season 4 friendly because Argyle's in it. How about that? I think he's one of the few season 4 additions, isn't he? I don't think we've seen anything season 4 related other than him. But I'm glad to see him. Bringer of pizza. And then the King of Strands. Bob was the magician and I thought this was the drawing Will did of Bob also, but it's obviously Will's drawing, but who had the crown? Okay, we're looking this up because I'm having a brain fart, or are you guys screaming it at me right now? No, it is the Bob Newby superhero. I only remember the drawing of him in the cape. Is there anything this king can't do? This card brings help when you need it. A reliable friend, a trusted leader, and someone to remind you that everything is going to be okay. If you're acting as the King of Strands for others, it's due to your natural charm and quiet confidence, much like the beloved Bobby. And then the Queen of Strands is Nancy in her season 3 dress, but covered in lights. Okay. And then on to Scoops, which I had assumed the Scoops would be the cups, because I guess of their physical shape. But the cups are the Pentacle suit. It says the reason for thinking was Scoops corresponds to the suit of Pentacles, which deals with the material aspects of life: finances, physical health, professional success, and responsibilities. They correspond to the element of earth, so think about the solid foundations and reliability Terra Firma provides. Okay, so they really didn't go into their reasoning like the way they did with like the spokes or anything. So here is the Ace of Scoops being handed to you by Steve, I believe, himself. And then the 2 of Scoops, and this is where it is quite pippish again, because we have the 3 of Scoops here. And then the 4 of Scoops. And then the 5 of Scoops. And then the 6 of Scoops, sharing. And the 7 of Scoops. And the 8 of Scoops. And the 9 of Scoops, completely pippish in the Scoops. But the 10 of Scoops has Steve holding them, so it's okay by me. And then Erica is the Page of Scoops. So cute. Such a spitfire. That's season 3 Erica. And then Robin is the Knight of Scoops. So, okay. I can see that. I can see Robin is the Knight of Scoops. And then we have Steve is the king. He is the King of Scoops. He's the Knight of Cups and he's the King of Pentacles. And I love that. So who's the Queen of Pentacles? That would be Mrs. Wheeler. Uh-oh. Steve and Mrs. Wheeler? Watch out, Billy. Steve's coming for your woman. It's not even his woman. I feel bad saying that. I'm sorry, Ted. I'm sorry. I haven't seen Ted in this deck yet. And then we're on to the Ace of Dice. Is anybody out there like Ted? I love Ted, personally. Like, I'm probably alone in that, and I'm willing to accept that, but okay. The suit of dice corresponds with the suit of swords, and it's associated with the element of air ruling over intellect, ambitions, and advancing yourself in the game. So it does make sense, and I see where they're going with that. The situations described by the suit of dice are interpersonal struggles, the way you the way you process your thoughts, and how you turn mental energy into actions. much like gameplay. When the dice are thrown in your reading, they are advising you on how to take your turn. Will you use it for a positive outcome or a negative decision? The choice is yours. So these being swords, I would have assumed that they were pentacles. I don't, again, just because of the shapes, I guess. But here is your ace of dice. And they are still hippish, but these have a pretty cool, like, because they described this whole suit as being part of like gameplay. I will say the two. So these are the two of dice. They look like the D&D figures that are used in the game. Here's the three of dice with the numeral 3 on the tombstone. There is the 4 of dice. Here is the 5 of dice. The weapons. I do get the connection, like, with some of these, but I would also say if you are a Stranger Things fan to get this, great. If you are just learning tarot, this might be a little bit harder to pick up on the meanings and such, and relate them. If you already are quite well versed in tarot, obviously it's fine, but the 6 of dice, this, if you can't see it, I don't know if it'll focus that well, but it says, here there be monsters. The 7 of dice is the treasure chest with swords sticking out of it. The 8 of dice is the different, it's different people. It looks like ghostly apparitions. Oh, are these the flayed? Hold on. We're going back to the book. I have to know. I promise I won't take that long, guys. I have to know. This card represents a phase where you are letting the rules of the game dictate your every move in a way that restricts your autonomy. Oh my gosh, autonomy. If you don't like what you're doing, this is a challenge that you figure out how to separate yourself from it. Why are you so committed to something that makes you so unhappy? You can choose to stop playing at any time. The only person keeping you there is yourself. I I think that these are the flayed. I can't tell. Like, no one face sticks out to me, but I think that that's the flayed. Sorry, I got kind of obsessed there for a second. The 9 of dice is the it looks like the tentacles going on from the upside down. It does mention in the, I was just reading it to myself really quick, but it does mention anxiety in another dimension. So yes, they are the tentacles from the upside down. And then the 10 of dice is the mind flayer himself. And then the page of dice is Will. He has a little game piece. He's so cute. He's so cute. So he's been a king and a page. And then the knight of dice is Kali, being flanked by her little punk people, her little punk group. The king of dice is Victor Creel. So there's another season 4 reference. He's the king of swords. And then the queen of dice is Max from season 3, all dressed up in her little photo outfit. And that is the deck, you guys. Sorry, I had to keep looking, but I really wanted to know. I was interested to know. A lot of their entries in the book did say their like their thoughts on what connected the Stranger Things to the tarot. It does, I should mention, have like the New in Town spread. There's a Curiosity Voyage, and then Out of That Cave, and then a Power Surge, And that's it for the reading spreads, and that's it for the book itself. I should mention that this is an Inside Editions deck, in case you were curious about the maker. And yeah, so we can finally shuffle too. That's exciting. I can see how this thing shuffles because I have not shuffled it yet, obviously. Oh yeah, I was right though. I was right about, like, I am not the world's best shuffler. I've said that before. I've said that almost every time. And that bridges really well, even for me. The cards are nice and thin, but especially with the face of it being that slippery and all, because the face has almost like an extra coating on it. It's nice. It is nice. So, I would say these cards should shuffle pretty darn well. Pretty happy with that. And yeah, so I'm going to cleanse this, and I'm going to charge this, and then I mentioned in my other, on the Crochet Witch channel, this is going to be basically like a little celebration across all of my channels. So link down below is my tarot channel, my actual readings channel, which is the Queen of Pentacles. And if you care to join me there, I will probably be doing some, even if they're just some one-shot readings for like whoever finds these readings kind of things. I'll be doing some readings with this deck, just to do all of my channels and celebrate it. But yeah, it shuffles pretty nice. And all in all, I really like. I know that the fact that I'm like a Stranger Things super fan is definitely affecting me. So take all of my opinions with a grain of salt. But I think all in all, it is a nice deck. I do like it. I would suggest, if you are a super fan, for sure to give it a try. It was pretty reasonably priced. I got it on Amazon for, it was under $30. I think when I got it, the pre-order, it was like $27, and I think it was on sale for $25 recently. So yeah, I like it. So hopefully you guys like it too. Let me know if you have it and if you like it, or what your thoughts are, if you thought the cards were a good match. And until next time, I will talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.